welcome back and welcome to another book versus film video. I put a poll out on Twitter and people voted for me to do Me Before You next, and I have literally just rewatched the film so that I would remember all about it, because the book stuck with me a long time, and I watched the film at a special premiere with Jojo Moyes. I was lucky enough to go and watch it and hear her do a bit of a Q&A beforehand, and I haven't watched it since then, and I forgot how much I loved that film. So that was a pleasant little viewing experience, all in the name of research for this video. So first of all, Jojo Moyes herself has said how true to the book she thinks that this film is. Obviously things have had to be kind of cut down and made briefer, but then we don't need as much space for description because we can see the visual. So in terms of the storyline, this film really does stick right to the storyline of the book, and I love the fact that we have all the different aspects of Louisa's story and Will's story in there, just as we did with the book. I don't have a copy of the book to show you, I'm really sorry. I did have a copy a while ago, but I no longer have it, and I actually listened to this one on audiobook, so or a copy of the DVD because I watched it on streaming, so there we go. The storyline, I think, the book and the film, just as good, just as magical. The difference in the storyline with the film and the book made me cry a lot more than the film did. The film made me cry right at the end, and that was it. And rewatching it just now, it was the same thing. The film made me cry right at the end, and that was it. Whereas the book, because reading a book is so much more kind of immersive, excuse me, I'm getting a little frog here. Because reading a book is so much more immersive, and you spend more time with these characters and they feel like your characters inside your head. I think that's probably why the book made me cry more than the film did. But in terms of the storyline, it's all there, you've got everything. I was wondering how they would do the letter in the film. If you've read the book and or seen the film, you'll understand what I mean by letter, but if you haven't seen either, then I'm not spoiling anything for you, because I'm just saying the letter. And I thought the letter was really well done in the film, because I was wondering how they would do it, how that would come into it, but I think that they did it just perfectly. In terms of the characters, obviously we build our own characters in our head when we read the book. We know what they look like in our head, we know what they sound like, and we know what kind of person they are in our heads. And that's the magic of reading, right? I was really pleased with the casting of the characters. I think that they are the kind of people that I really did build in my head. I was actually quite shocked at how much Will in the film looks like the Will in my head. The Louisa in my head was a little bit more kind of average body shape, but I think they did Louisa really well in the film, and I loved the energy that the actress who plays Louisa brings to the character. The fact that, you know, she's so into her colourful clothing, and she's so optimistic and always making a cup of tea, and I think that the energy that that actress brought to Louisa was just perfect. If anything, the Will in my head started off a little bit more mean than the Will in the film, but that might be just because you get a bit more time to get to know him in the book before sort of events start happening. Mr. and Mrs. Trainer in the film, again, I thought were a bit nicer than the Mr. and Mrs. Trainer in my head when I read the book. And Nathan, I don't know why, but when I read the book, I thought that Nathan was black, and in the film he's white, and I don't know where this came from. I can't remember if there's anything in the book that led me to think that way, but that was quite interesting. So that's the characters, and then the kind of the ways in which the film is different in a positive way. The film has an amazing soundtrack. I loved the soundtrack that went with the film, and now I think if I went back and reread Me Before You, or even reread After You, I would hear the soundtrack from the film as I'm reading the book. And of course the things that appeared at the beginning, the shoes, I felt like I had to have my irregular choice shoes with me for filming this video, just because Louisa's shoes in the film are amazing. I loved all Louisa's clothes in the film. Obviously they're described in the book, and the bumblebee tights and the wellies play a pivotal part in the storyline of both, but the film showing you the clothes, showing you the fluffy coats, showing you the shoes and that red dress, that really made it for me. And so the description of the clothing slash the showing of the clothing, I think, is better in the film. It's a bit like, I don't really think of these two as two separate things. I will give you another video of a book where I see the book as a completely separate thing to the film, but in this case, because both were so fabulous and I loved both so much, and the film was so true to the book, I would say that the film is just as good as the book. Just as emotional, just as entertaining, and just as magical. I loved them both, and it was one of my favourite films last year, and the book was one of my favourite reads that year when I read the book as well. So there you have it. There are my thoughts on Me Before You, book versus film. If you have read and seen the film, I would love to hear from you. If you have read the book and are scared to see the film, then please give me a comment below. I will try and convince you to see this film. And if you have seen the film and not read the book, I really recommend you read the book. The audiobook was excellent. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. If you would like to join in with future videos, please do subscribe. I'd love to have you on board, and I will be back with another one of these videos very soon, so I will see you then. Bye.